Dear students, all of you welcome for the second part of Origin of Life. In previous lecture, we have studied about how universe existed, and after the existence of universe there was a presence of life on the earth. So first of all, universe existed because of Big Bang theory and nebular theory as per the scientist assumed like that, and then the solar system present today was produced, and after thousands of years the life existed on the earth. To that we call it as origin of life on earth, and we are studying second part of origin of life. Let us study the next part of origin of life. Now, how we understood the origin of life is depending upon these factors. So all these things that we are studying in this point help us to understand how life came on earth, how different organisms was produced on earth. So now next point that we are going to study is vestigial organ. So vestigial organ also gives us idea about that how living organisms was produced on the earth. These are organs which were functional earlier. Vestigial organs are what? These are the organs which were functional earlier in the past history. So whenever the human being was developing, these organs were present in the human being or any other organism if we consider. So these organs were present in the organism, and now at present day these organs are still present in the human body, and they are not carrying out any kind of a function. So let me repeat, what is that? The organs which are still present in the human body but they are non-functional, they are not carrying out any kind of function, so that organ are called as vestigial organs. Some of these are muscle of ear pinna, canine teeth and third molar teeth, body hairs, vermiform, appendix, nictitating membrane of eye, caudal vertebral, and that is also called as coccyx or tail. Okay. So these organs are still present in the human being but they are not functional at all. Okay. Muscle of ear, and the name of that muscle is ear pinna. So this muscle is still present in the human being to move the ears, but they are non-functional, so that is why we can't move our ears. Canine teeth. Canine teeth are still present in human being, but we don't use them for tearing the meat because canine teeth are the sharp four teeth in our mouth present at four corners of the mouth: left, upper right, lower right. So these teeth are canine teeth, they are sharp pointed teeth still present in the human being, but these teeth are useful for carnivorous organism like tiger, lion for tearing the meat, but it is not useful for human beings. And the third molar teeth which is present in the cattle for chewing the sugarcane and grass and plant material, so it is present in the herbivorous organism. Vermiform appendix. Okay, so appendix is the kind of a gland present in the digestive system. So it was previously, when human being was developing, at that time it was active, but now it is not active. Nictitating membrane of eye. This membrane of eye can be seen clearly in the birds and crocodile. This membrane is very transparent and that transparent membrane covers the eye and protects the eye from water or air. So when birds are flying, birds cover their eye by nictitating membrane. Crocodile covers their eye when crocodile enters into the water. So it protects the eye from the water or air. Caudal vertebral bone, that is also called as tailbone of the human. Yes, as I said, nictitating membrane of eye is present in other organism, but it was active in the human being previously, but it is present now and it is inactive. Nictitating membrane is still, some part of nictitating membrane is present in the corners of the eye near the nose, and it is inactive. And the last, tailbone, also called as coccyx. This bone is a tailbone and this is also inactive. We don't use this tailbone for any purpose. Now these organs are present in organism, but they are non-functional. All these organs are non-functional. You can see the images. This is the appendix, the gland which is present in the digestive system. It was active previously, but it is not active now. It is just present in the digestive system. This is the coccyx bone of the human being, which is also called as tailbone, which is not useful at all. Wisdom tooth. So wisdom tooth is the tooth present in the inner corners here. So this is wisdom tooth, which is not useful at all. Ear muscles. This ear muscles are present in the other animals like tiger, lion, cat, for moving their ears to catch the prey for hunting. But in human being, these muscles are not useful to move the ears. So these muscles degenerated and became non-active. Next point that we are going to study is atavism or reversion. It is the sudden reappearance of some ancestral features. Okay, it is sudden reappearance of ancestral features, appearance of thick body hair, large canines, monstrous face, short temporary tail, extra nipples, etc. So these are the characteristics that you can call this as atavism. Now let me tell you what is the meaning of atavism or reversion. What happens when the human being is developing in the process of evolution? Evolution is itself a slow development of the human being. So in so many years ago, there was appearance of certain characters that I told you, like appendix, coccyx, wisdom tooth and ear pinna, and it was functional in that area, in that era actually. So thousands of years ago, these organs were active and present, and now what happened? In the process of evolution, some of the characteristics disappears from the human body, and again after thousands of years in the process of development, what happens? Some of the characters can reappear again in the body. Means initially, if suppose any of the organ was present in the human being, at the middle stage that organ disappears and first of all it becomes dysfunction, non-functional, and then it disappears, and then again some years later that same organ can reappear in the human being. That process is called as atavism or reversion. Etc. are examples of atavism. Evidence from connecting link. Connecting link is one which exhibit characteristics of more than one groups. that is the connecting link means one organism have the relation with other two different organisms present today, means that organisms developed from this common organism. So how this organism enlisted in the table, how they are connecting link between two things, I will tell you. First is virus. This virus can act as a living and non-living virus. Okay, so virus is a kind of organism which can show some characters of living thing, and it can also show the characters of non-living things also. So that is why virus is linked between the living things and the non-living things. Euglena also act as a link between plant and animal. As we know, plants are very different organisms and animal are very different organisms. They have very different characters, but Euglena is the organism which can show very different type of characteristics. Like some characters of Euglena are like plant, means Euglena can carry out photosynthesis by absorbing sunlight, and it can prepare its own food. And like animals, Euglena can also hunt other microorganisms, and it can eat like heterotrophs, like all animals do and human being do. It depends upon other organism for food also. And like plants, it can prepare food in the presence of sunlight also, like plant. So that is why Euglena is connecting link between plant and animal. Next organism is Peripatus. This Peripatus organism is like it have many legs, and this act as the link between Annelida and Arthropoda. So what is Annelida? Annelida is a earthworm. Arthropoda is a cockroach. So Peripatus show the characteristics like both earthworm and cockroach. So Annelida is a group of organism, and in that group earthworm is included. Arthropoda is a group of organism, in that insects included, and cockroach is an insect. Next organism is a Neoplena. Neoplena is Annelida and Mollusca. Okay, means Neoplena can show characters like Annelida, means like earthworm, and mollusk means like soft body organisms. Next is Belanoglossus. It is an aquatic organism, and it can show the characteristics like non-chordate and chordata. So chordata is what and non-chordata is what? Chordata means the organism which have the vertebral column and spinal cord, and non-chordates means the organism which doesn't have the vertebral column and spinal cord. So Belanoglossus can show characters of both Belanoglossus, chordata and non-chordata. Next, theories of evolution. So as I told you, what is evolution? Evolution is the developmental process of all living organism, and the theories of evolution means the explanation of evolution was given by many scientists, and few of them which gave the initial work of the evolution. So that scientists are Lamarck and Darwin. Okay. So these two scientists are the main scientists who gave the idea of evolution, and they published their work in their book. So the first scientist I would like to tell you is Lamarck. Okay, the name of the scientist is Jean Baptiste de Lamarck. Okay, what is the name of the scientist? Jean Baptiste de Lamarck gave the idea that an organism can pass on characteristics that it acquired during its lifetime to its offspring, also known as heritability of acquired characteristics. Okay, what I'm saying, Lamarck told the organism can pass on characteristics that is acquired by that organism during its lifetime to its offspring. Let me explain you this. Actually, what happens when any of the organism is developing, it develops many characters in the body, and that characters are acquired by that organism, means it is adapted by that organism, and that characteristics remains for long time. The characteristics remain for long time, and these characteristics are transferred to their new generation, to their offspring means is actually a baby. So these characters are transferred to their new generation. It is also called as offspring. Offspring means baby. Also known as heritability of acquired characters, means developing character. First of all, organism develops the character, then that character is maintained for lifetime, is maintenance of the character, and that characters are transferred to their new generation, is also called as heritability of acquired characteristics. Lamarck's theory of evolution was published in Philosophy Zoologique. So, Philosophic Zoologique is the book of the scientist, and he all gave the idea of evolution in his book. So, what was the theory of the Lamarck? That first, living organism and its part tend to increase in size due to internal force of life. The parts of the organism, they grow in size due to the internal force. That was the thinking of the Lamarck. Second thinking of the Lamarck is formation of new organs is the result of a new need and new involvement. Okay, the formation of new organs and new characteristics in the living thing is because of the need. Huh? The organs are needed by that organism. Suppose we need eyes. Why we need eyes? To look in the surrounding, to search the food, to protect ourselves. All many things we need eye. So as like, then we developed the eye. So that is what, if there is a need of anything, then that organ is developed in the body, and it depends upon new environment also. If the environment is new and different, then there will be different need of that organism. For example, if the yak is living in the cold region, then yak needs so many thick hairs on his body to protect him from cold winter. So that is the need of the yak. So he grow more hairs on the body to protect himself from the cold. Likewise, depending upon the need, new characters are developed in the organism. Third, individuals lose characteristics that they do not require. So any of the character in the body is not required anymore by that organism, then slowly that organ becomes inactive, then it starts degenerating, means it starts reducing in the size, and then what happens, it disappears after so many years. Fourth, individuals inherit the trait of their ancestor. So whatever the characters are present in us today, that are inherited from our ancestral parents, means the parents which were present in so many years ago, thousands of years ago, that are called as ancestors, our previous ancestors. Yeah, so these are the four assumptions of the Lamarck theory. Next scientist is Darwinism. Okay, uh, the theory is called as Darwinism, and the name of the scientist is Darwin. What is the name of the scientist is Darwin, and what is the theory is Darwinism. Darwin's theory of evolution was origin of species by natural selection. The theory consists of five propositions. They are survival of fittest or natural selection, origin of species, overproduction or enormous fertility are the assumptions of the Darwinism or Darwin's theory of evolution. Okay, let me explain you this all. So which theory is given by Darwin? The theory of evolution is theory of origin of species by natural selection. So what is the meaning of natural selection? When any organism starts living in different organism, then the environment is different, so he develops new character to survive in different environment, and this happens naturally. It is called as natural selection. This theory consists of five prepositions. So let me tell you what are these five prepositions are. First is survival of fittest or natural selected organism. Okay, so the organism will only survive if that organism is fit and healthy. The weak organisms are not able to survive and they die. So that was the first preposition of the Darwinism. Second, origin of species means as the development of organisms goes on, there is a origin of species. Third, overproduction or enormous fertility. Overproduction or enormous fertility. So what is this? Living organisms have the ability of reproduction, and the fittest organisms can reproduce rapidly and they can increase their number, increase their population. So that is what overproduction and enormous fertility, that is very important for maintaining the population of the species of that type of organism. Fourth is struggle for existence. Yes, the organism who will struggle for survival, for living, that organism will only exist in the earth, exist on the earth. Variation and heredity. So what is variation and heredity? The reproduction that animal carry out, that reproduces the diversity in organism. What is diversity? This, that is the unique character development of new characters, unique characters that are only present in that type of organism is called as variation and heredity. For example, you, or suppose take example of human being. Yes, any of the human being, if any child have characteristics of their parents, some of the characteristics of the child are same as like parents, but still there are some different and unique characters that are only present in that child and nobody else. So that is diversity. Also, the variation and diversity can be seen in each and every type of organism. All the plant species, insect species, and all other organisms have this variation and heredity. Thank you. So notes will be provided to you, and also you can prepare the notes depending upon the slides and study well. If you don't understand, get it cleared.